There was a black gentleman that was working his job, and he experienced a lot of racism and discrimination on his job, so much so that he found a N-word manual on the job, and he had to file a lawsuit against the company, which I definitely recommend all black people file lawsuits against companies so you deal with racism. Well, let's roll the clip.
I was shaken when I saw that. I think that we who are not of color sometimes sit in our happy, secure places and want to believe that this kind of thing doesn't go on anymore.
Attorney Kathy Lauder-LaJour says she is disturbed by the paperwork she received from her client, DeAndre Adams. Paperwork titled The N-Word Owner's Manual.
I've never seen anything like this.
Adams has worked for the Obion County Highway Department for 7 years and says he's experienced racism in this workplace before.
A guy who was a foreman at the place one day fashioned a noose and waved it at Mr. Adams with some comment to the effect of, ain't this part of your heritage?
2 weeks ago, Adams says he was going through a file cabinet he uses on a regular basis when he found the 4-page manual. It gives instructions on how to install, configure, house, entertain, and even kill African Americans. It also has headlines like, "My N-word keeps raping white women." Adams told his attorney he complained to his supervisor but was told not to say anything and that he would take care of it. But Adams feels like nothing was done. I called the department to get their side.
Do I just refer all questions? You guys don't have anything you want to add?
They told me they did not have anything to say but to call their lawyer, Steve Conley. Conley told me he is looking into all of the allegations and has asked Adams for the original copy but has not received it. He also says whoever is responsible for this will be disciplined.
It's horrible what I just read.
Dacarius Stevens is from Union City and says he's not surprised by the message at all. He hopes the mindset of whoever placed the papers in the cabinet changes, but he also believes there should be changes within the black community too.
I feel like it starts with us blacks. When we having a conversation with each other, I feel like we have to stop using the word.
I also tried interviewing many others around Union City, but they declined, some telling me they don't condone the manual's message, but would rather not talk about it.
Now, it's just two things that I've seen in this video outside of the obvious. So let's talk about the obvious. The obvious is, of course, he's dealing with some straight up white supremacists that feel very, very bold to do that to him. And I personally believe that he is passive, that they don't feel threatened by him because they constantly kept doing it to him. See, let me tell you something about these white supremacists. They size you up. They know who they can try that on and who not to try that on. And he kept allowing them to get away with it. And that's why he ended up getting that N-word manual that he found at work. That's why. The first time that they showed you a noose, something should have been done. And yet you didn't do anything at the time period. That's going way too far. To me, you show me a noose, you threatening my life. Now I'm about to get in self-defense mode all the way around. You're not going to play me like that. That's just bottom line. But Dr. Neely Fuller has said something, and I'll never forget this video. It was an audio where Dr. Neely Fuller was talking with a white lady, and she was asking what could she do to help fight against racism. And he said one thing that you can do to help out black people specifically is do not sleep with them. And he said that's the most cruel thing you could do is sleep with a black person. And she was shocked. And she said, why? He told her because when you sleeping with a black person, it neutralizes them to think that racism don't exist. They get weak and they don't see really what it is. And then finally they deal with racism and white supremacy, and then they don't know how to deal with it because they has been so neutralized. Case in point, you saw his woman. He's with a white woman. Back to what Dr. Neely Fuller said. He's neutralized. That made him really weak and passive to a lot of things, obviously. And that's why it went so far now that he felt that I got to go get an attorney. But he should have got an attorney the first time. He shouldn't have got an attorney now. It's just my opinion with the situation. And to this brother at the end, you don't conflict two issues into this. Okay. See, some of y'all don't need to talk to the media if you don't know what you're doing. if they talking about this dude had a noose shown to him and this N-word manual that he found, okay, why are you gonna sit up here and backdoor and say, well, you know, we shouldn't be calling each other that, and maybe like, look, man, that's a totally different conversation for a different day, and that's a conversation to black folks. That's not a conversation to them on the media. That's not even what they talking about. They talking about white supremacists doing this at the job. That's what they're talking about. And a lot of these jobs got white supremacists. And I say, you want to be white supremacist, that's your business. But you need to be extremely militant in your approach with these white supremacists. And you need to have that look in your eye like, don't try me, don't test me. I don't bar no white supremacists. It's just that simple. And they won't try you. Trust me, they won't try you. But if you one of these weak and docile black person, you neutralized, they probably were pissed off too that he had a white woman, because white supremacists don't like that crap. Not at all. So that's probably what brought on a lot of the racialized terrorism that he was experiencing on the job. I hope he wise up, and if you see this video, bruh, you need to wake up, man. You really do. This society and climate that we're in, and then usually when they get with women like that, they don't bring around a lot of black folk. You probably in some town or some areas, none but white folk, probably racist ones at that. Listen what they say on the news. Well, the people say we don't agree with it, but we don't want to talk about it. They think that's their way of getting rid of it. They don't want to talk about the white supremacists. You know why? Because they know they have to side with them or it's going to be a problem. That's why they don't want to talk about it. You know, lynching black people. Oh, we don't want to talk about that. Burn down black towns. Oh, well, you know, we don't agree with it. It's the past, but we don't want to talk about that. You'll have to talk about it. I mean, we'll talk about it. But this brother here, some of y'all brothers really got to get your act together for real. I mean, seriously, get your act together. You don't let no white supremacists terrorize you on no job. Like, come on, man. Like I said, that's extreme weakness. You're not being a warrior. You're not channeling the power of your ancestors. Just to sit there and take that crap. But leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about this particular story. And please don't put up with no white supremacists terrorizing you on no job. You react the first time and make them pay through that court of law, because racialized terrorism and discrimination is something you can get paid from real quick.